Once the review is complete and the docs have been tagged and flagged, you can export all of your results to Word or Excel to use it as part of the diligence report to the client, or simply to get another view of the results. Select which documents you want to export by checking the box to the left of each file name. Alternatively, if you just want to select all the documents within this screen view, you could check the box at the top. If you wanted to select all documents in a particular folder, go back to the folder view and then check the folder. If you wanted all documents in the entire project within the folder view, you can check the box at the top. Once you've selected the docs or export, click the export button at the top. If your firm has integrated Kira with HighQ, you can export directly into an existing iSheet. Otherwise, you can export to a document by clicking Document. Here you'll have plenty of options to decide what information will appear on the export, as well as what format the export will be in. First, select the smart fields for which you want the results to appear. By default, all smart fields in the worksheet or worksheets applied to the selected documents have already been checked. You may wish to remove some or only select a few, depending on the situation. To do so, you can either deselect them individually, or you can deselect all of them and then just choose the ones that you want to include in your export. Next, you can choose the results content you want to see. If you want your free text summaries to be included, then you can click the Include Summaries box. If you want to include a separate column for each of the tags, whether they be the document classifier, the language, the document tags you created, any duplicate tags, or the tags that you created at the smart field level, or any of the flags, you can choose whichever you want. Once you have decided what content to show, you can now choose the format you wish for it to appear in. You can have it appear as a table in Word. This is often preferable if you have only a few different smart fields you want to export the results for, as a page in Word only allows for a limited number of columns or rows before it gets quite difficult to read. If you select the Include Page Links, Number Links option, each result will have a link that will take you to the correct page in the document within Kira. Next, decide if you want the output to all be in a single table in a Word document, which can get quite unruly if you have too many smart fields, or you can choose to have it in multiple files, meaning the results for each document will be a separate Word file showing results for only that document. So if you have 250 documents reviewed for export, you'll get 250 Word files, one for each document. Finally, you will need to decide if you want the results to show as columns in the table or as rows. If you select column, each column will be a separate smart field and each row will represent one document. If you select row, each review document will be its own section with rows below for each smart field. I get it. It's confusing. So it's best you try out each option to see for yourself. Beneath, you will see one final checkbox, which, if checked, will display any extractions you flagged in red font. Remember the flag function from the tags, flags, and summaries video? Here's an example of what a Word export would look like by column. Each document occupies its own row, with smart fields spread across the columns. You will see the link to the document in Kira beneath each document name. And because we chose to include page number links, each result has its own hyperlink to the relevant page in the document within Kira. So if you click it, it will take you to that page within Kira. If you chose to display the results by row, each document is separated by a page break. And below each document name, each row will show you each of the various smart fields. Depending on the number of documents and the number of smart field results you are showing, you may want to choose different options. So be sure to try out multiple variations and choose the best result. If you have several smart fields applied to a document, and you don't want to sift through hundreds of pages in a Word file, you may want to opt for the XL export. Here you have the benefit of cramming as many data points as you want into a single sheet. For Excel, you have some different options. Similar to the Word options, you can choose whether to have a link to the page number for each result. If you group documents, you can choose to have the document group names appear in an adjacent column. Finally, you can choose whether to display in column or in rows, much like the Word formats, and whether to display flagged content in red. This is an example of what an Excel export looks like by column. You'll notice 3 worksheet tabs at the bottom: the summary, the tables, and then the project itself. If you click on the project tab, you'll see all results, where each row represents a separate document, and each of the columns will show the results for each of the smart fields within the worksheet. The last column will provide the link to the document within Kira. If you chose to show the group documents, you'll see the document groups column. And here you will be able to see the group name for any group documents, as well as which tier that document belongs to within that group. You will notice some results are underlined and in blue font. When you click on this, this will take you to the tables worksheet. And here the relevant tables will appear. If you chose to view Excel by row, it would look something like this, where each smart field occupies its own row, and therefore each document is represented by several rows. The final option is to show by PDF. This export will show the entirety of each document, so the entire scanned image in the OCR format. You can choose whether to include the highlights that show extractions from the worksheet or simply the PDF of the contract as is. You can also choose what quality you want the PDF export to be in. This is what a PDF export would look like, where you get the entire OCR document with the highlights for each of the extractions within the worksheet. Keep in mind that since these are PDFs of the entire contract, the file size may be several megabytes or even gigabytes, depending on the number and size of documents being exported. So you should only be using the PDF export option if there is a specific client asked to do so, or if it is necessary for internal compliance purposes. So these are the various export options available out of the box in Kira. Talk to your firm's Kira administrator to see if there are other export options your firm may have built and whether there are internal best practices for exports. Also, try out each of the export options for the Word and Excel exports to get comfortable with the output. Just be careful when testing out the PDF exports and make sure it is only a few documents because of the size.